Thursday, the 18th of April. As we do every Thursday, a review of our current swings, both long and short. Let's take a look at them. Starting with the short side ADSK, which we gave you and it broke here back earlier this month in around that 247 range. It's now dropped 41 points to 206. Bounced a little bit off support today and my target. It's met both targets, but the third target is now 194. AKAM also short after it dropped down and formed the bear flag. That one subsequently has dropped from 114 down to right at 100 today. The way I look at it, I believe the stock may be headed to the mid 90s, maybe even 89.90. AQST on the long side, big run up, pulled back, kind of a falling wedge here. It held at 50 and bounced, especially today in a lousy market. Very nice relative strength, jumping 55 cents or 14%. Traded 5.8 million. That's a pickup in volume, the best in 2 weeks. What we got to do is get through the 470 where there's a gap. To get through that, you might see 5.5, 6.5. AU in the gold sector, obviously, has had a nice run since we gave it to you. It's run from nearly 21 to 26, 25 and change, and pulled back. Concerned about this pattern because it might be, if you look at it on an hourly basis, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, or it's nothing more than a bull wedge, and at some point it's going to break out of it. You don't know until the pattern breaks up or down. Now, though, we'll stick with it long until it breaks on the short side. Your next target, 25.5 and 27. CAR on the short side broke its rising wedge. You can see it's been down every day for a week, 6 days now. It's right on support. The next target is going to be down here about the 83-84 zone. That's if it cracks 100. CGEM on the long side popped, really strong surge. This wedge broke. It exploded and pulled back for a couple of days, 2 consecutive inside days, forming a wedge. Let's look at it on an hourly basis. See it? We popped that wedge, the stock could run. Targets to 20.75 and 23. We'll go with that for now. Coupang went a nice move, came out of a falling wedge, accelerated, broke out with a breakaway gap above the high, and ran to the first target near 23. If it backs and fills a little bit on wave 4, I think the stock can make it to 27. ELF broke down and formed the bear flag. Today it was kind of flat, but we'll have to keep an eye on this one. If it breaks out above the near-term channel top, over 175, I would tend to want to cover it. But a breakdown here could get you 140 or less. EVER on the long side holding well, except for today where it dropped $1.10 right on the 50-day moving average. That's about where, as far as you want to let it go, right there on the trend line. This is my new trend line based on what I'm seeing now. My target is 25.6. First 22.5 and 26. EXPE on the short side with the bear coil, a little bear flag, and now breaking down. I'm expecting a test of about 119.20, followed by maybe testing a gap at 105.7. Finger popped out, pulled back in a wedge, and it's been making a nice move today, inside day. If we get any kind of real activity on this one, particularly above the 3.5 range, it could run. Targets 4.5 and 5.75. On the short side, light completed a head and shoulder type pattern by breaking through the neckline and support line at around 45. Today's low was 40.41. I believe it breaks through that. It goes down at 38.5, 35.5. ML on the long side, even though it's backing off, is still a long trade. I don't want to see it get below support, which right now is about 62. On the upside, my target is 90. MP popped out, put a swing on it. It's now consolidating, and it looks like a left shoulder head and maybe a right shoulder forming. Moving averages are crossing over. It looks strong. I just don't want to see it under 15. On the upside, anything over 17.75 could break it out, targeting 19.25 and 21.5. NRIX broke out of a wedge. We put a swing on it, but it backed off with the market. Still holding the trend line. A lot of volume on the downside, though. Be careful with this one underneath 13.5. Your target is 19 if it goes. New York Times short came down hard from the coil, broke down, just snapped back a little bit today. But I'm convinced now this stock is headed for high 30s. OSCR broke out of a nice 6-week pattern and spiked up to 1725, finished 1622. Now, if you can hold that line, I'm looking for a retest of the highs. That gets me up to 18.5, and then we're looking at 2122 zone. S on the short side broke down from the bear quant, broke down again, is now flagging in here, 18.5 target. YELP got up to the declining tops line and is beginning to roll over here, it appears. Any further damage, we might see 37, 35.5, and even low 30s. And finally, ZETA popped out. We put a swing. It's been consolidating nicely, but I'd be careful on this one under 11. Targets 13.5 3/4. And that's a look at the hot stocks, both long and short, at detectrader.com. Good night, everybody.